Alright, this is 15.4. Up here, we have important notes at the top. This tells me that when I am in this vertex form, my CD is my vertex, my C is my axis of symmetry, and my D is my maximum or minimum. So we're going to be using that, but it's only when it's in this form. We're going to be using that. So we're going to start by writing our new g of x. So if it's shifting to the right, it's going to be in parentheses. I'm going to say which function is equivalent. So we're going to go ahead and factor that out. So I'm using the box method. I know some students like what's called FOIL. That's okay too. So I'm doing x minus 4, x minus 4, x squared, minus 4x, minus 4x, and this is 16. So I have x squared minus 8x plus 16, which matches C. Alright, so we have f of x, and it tells us it goes to these 2 points. It goes to this point. So this is my C, and this is my D. So I'm going to have x, and I have my C, so it's going to be, original formula has a subtraction in it, so it's going to be minus 5 squared, and my D is going to be minus 3, or plus a negative 3. So I'm going to do this part using my grid. So I have x squared, that's negative 10x, plus 25, but I can't forget that minus 3. That's going to make it 23. So x squared minus 10x, 22. Oh, sorry. And that gives me B. Alright, so we have a reflection, so I know I'm already going to have a negative across the x-axis. Shift up and left. So left is going to make it a plus 6. And up is going to make it a plus 2. So first of all, I'm going to put an imaginary 1 there. This is kind of the hardest one, I think, to solve. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of this x plus 6. X squared. Of course, if I'm going too fast, just pause it. So I'm left with negative 1 times whatever that was, which is x squared plus 12x plus 36, and then I still have that plus 2. That negative 1 is going to be distributed, making it negative x squared minus 12 minus 36 plus the 2. Negative 36 plus 2 is negative 34, which matches B. Okay. Alright, number 4, translates. So we're going to go 7 right, and we're going to stretch by a factor of 2. So stretching means my coefficient, and going right 7 is subtracting 7. So I'm going to take care of this x minus 7 first. So we get x squared, negative 7x, and 49. So we have 2 times x squared minus 14x plus 49. So multiply all that times 2, so 2 times x squared is 2x. It's going to eliminate B and D. 2 times negative 14 is negative 28. That's good. And 2 times 49 is 98. So A is correct. Alright, flip to the back. Alright, at the top of this page, just to kind of remind myself of the notes, I wrote my equation first. So it's ax minus c squared plus d. or my vertex is CD, or my axis of symmetry is X equals C, and my max and min is D. So that's going to help us with 5 through 8. So if we look here, my vertex, C and D. So here's my C, and here's my D. So my C was a 5 because it already is subtraction. And my D, which should have been plus, but since it's a 1, means it's going to be negative 1. Axis of symmetry is going to be that C again. So X equals 5. Number 6, it's negative, so I know that it's going to be looking like this, which means it's a max. Our max and min values are D, so it's going to be 4. Our domain is all the real numbers. And then my range, I'm limited to that it needs to be, y needs to be less than or equal, because this point right here is 4, needs to be less than that 4. All right, now 7. So let's look at 7. So I don't have a plus D. This 4 right here is going to be my C. But since this is supposed to be a minus, to get it to be a plus 4, I'd have to do plus a negative. Okay, and so that's going to be the opposite. So it's going to be a negative 4. My D is going to be 0. Axis of symmetry is going to be negative 4. All right, and this one is our parent function, which we should be getting good at seeing. It's going to have a min. We'll find that value. It's going to be my D. There's plus 0. It's going to be 0. Domains, all real numbers. And range is going to be y has to be greater than or equal to 0. And number 9 is easiest to see on a calculator. Start with a vertex. Vertex is negative 3, negative 1. Okay, so that means that is going to be my C and my D. So I'm going to start with, it's opening downwards, it's going to be negative. It's going to be X plus 3, because that C is negative, squared minus 1. So all I need to do is, first of all, I can eliminate B and D. But I need to decide whether that is a stretch of 3 or 2. And so what you would do is you would graph these two on your calculator. And then you would look at the table and see which one matches this point and this point on your table. All right? And in this case, it is C. All right? To get to that table, when I'm in the graph, I don't think I have a, so I can graph it real quick and we can look at it. So we can graph C and look, it's going to be negative 2 x plus 3 squared minus 1. Push enter to graph. And then to get my table, I hit menu. I go down to table and I'll split screen it. Maybe. There we go. And so looking at this point is negative 4 and it looks like maybe negative 3. So I'm going to go to my table and I find, I was like, dang it, somehow I got negative 4 did equal negative 3. And so I plugged in the right answer so we didn't have to check both. The negative 4, negative 3 did match, and so C is right. Number 10 we did in class today where we looked at plugging it in. So which of the following graphs is the parabola? So we have C and D. So we know that we're going to have x plus 10 squared, and it's going to be plus 0. Okay? So using that to start with, I can eliminate C and D. So now I need to decide if I'm going to have a stretch of 2 or a stretch of 1/2. So I have 2 that I need to work out, and I have 1/2 can change it to 1/2. And here's my x value. So I'm going to plug that into x. That's going to look the same for both of these. It's going to be 11 squared times 2. So 2 times 121, which is 242. This one's going to be 1/2 11 squared. So half of 121 is 60.5. You could have also done like we did on the last one, plug them in, look at the equations. But the correct answer is B. Alright, if you have questions, please let me know.